Hey guys, this is Aegis, and it's March 20th. This is another part of the series of a game of a day. We're gonna be watching a Protoss versus Protoss today. It's Acer's Elfie versus Grubby. This is from the IEM Global something from a while back. So it is on Daybreak. We're gonna be seeing, of course, two really top tier Protoss players go at it against each other. Should be a pretty exciting game. I wonder if it's going to be more exciting than the one from day number 1 with the double. Well, I'll let you figure it out for yourself. Go check it out at the beginning of this playlist. So the pylons for both players are coming up inside of their own bases, which is a good thing to see, because otherwise we'd be seeing a lot of early game rushing, and usually that doesn't end up very interesting at all. Grubby over here, he's actually on his own team. He was with EG, I believe, and then he's just formed Team Grubby. So follow Grubby on Twitter. I guess I don't know too much about Elfie, except that he is actually quite good. The first time I saw him was also at some European tournament. Elfie chrono boosting out a couple of probes. Usually Protoss players spend the first two chrono boosts on probes. Gas is now on the way for both players. And there's a scout for Grubby inside of his own base, just making sure there's no sort of proxy pylon inside of his base, or maybe proxy cannons. There's Elfie's probe headed out to the front, going to be dropping a pylon over there as well. First gas is up for both players, and they will begin mining that gas. And they're just about ready to throw down their cybernetics core. Over here, Elfie is sending his probe into Grubby's base. He actually did check this corner over here. This is the shortest path, since the center path is blocked by a couple of destructible rocks. Almost forgot about that one. Cybernetics core now on the way for both players. And it does look like Elfie has a slightly faster cybernetics core. Maybe Grubby was busy doing something, kind of got it delayed. There's the probe for Elfie checking out the inside of Grubby's base. Both players still continuing to make probes, however saving that chrono boost, so it does tell us that they will either be going for defensive forward gain or some kind of tech. Grubby now throwing down that second gas, so it does show that he will be going for some kind of tech. Second Zealot is on the way. Interesting to see that that is not a Stalker. Elfie is getting a Stalker first. He's also grabbing his second gas. Probe is retreating to that watchtower. Zealot is chasing after it, just making sure that he keeps track of that probe, making sure that there's no sort of proxy pylon on the way. Elfie's Stalker does pop out, and looks like the probe for Grubby will begin its retreat. I believe the probe is just fast enough to get away from the Stalker, so that probe will survive. Grubby getting slightly supply blocked there for just a second, and Elfie now supply blocked. Looks like he does not have a pylon coming up, and he will be going for a 4-gate. He has canceled his gas, so that was a trick there from Elfie. We'll see if Grubby is able to hold this off or scout it. He did see the gas, so I bet he's thinking that it's going to be some kind of other build. And Grubby is going for a Stargate. This could be really bad if all 4 gates begin producing for Elfie and trying to run up this ramp. There's a Zealot checking this ramp, and a Stalker, 2 Stalkers up at the front of Grubby's natural expansion as well. This probe for Elfie is checking about the map, perhaps getting ready to throw down a proxy pylon. The 4 gateways are about to finish up. The warp gate tech is finishing for Elfie as well, and Grubby, his warp gate tech is almost complete. Now only now getting a second gateway. He's going to be forced to pull back his units here, and there's the pylons coming up for Elfie. There's 2 Stalkers here, and there are more units out in the field for Grubby, so he's going to be trying to focus down these first few Stalkers here. Going to take a little bit of extra damage on the shields here. It looks like he will clean up a couple of units for Elfie, and it looks like the Warpin will force Grubby back up his ramp. He will lose a couple of Zealots here, and he's going to be forced to warp in a couple of sentries here to force field his ramp. Is he ready? That one sentry needs to throw down a perfect force field. There it is. thrown down, and Grubby quickly warping in a second sentry. He needs to get down another perfect force field, or this game is over. Phoenix is now being produced by Grubby. A third gateway does complete, and another sentry, or Zealot warping, an interesting choice there by Grubby. More Phoenixes popping out for Grubby, and it looks like another force field goes down. Perfect force fielding by Grubby so far. If he misses even just one force field, this game will be over. Twilight Council on the way for Alfie, so he's going to be going for some Blink Stalkers or maybe some Dark Templar, trying to catch his opponent off guard. And there's the Phoenixes out in the field. The two Zealots trying to make their way up the ramp. Looks like one Zealot will make its way up. And Grubby needs to make sure it does not make it to that mineral line. Still holding his ramp as well. He's warping in another sentry. And here comes the run up the ramp. Force field. I think there's almost enough space for the Stalkers to come in. Looks like that Zealot will head towards that mineral line. And Grubby has gained a slight advantage here. He does have the superior tech, sort of, and there's the Phoenixes doing a little bit of damage over here for Grubby, and there's the robotics facility on the way. This is not the right choice to be making while dealing with Phoenixes, unless you're confident in being able to survive the Phoenixes continuing to harass over here, picking off a couple of probes, maybe even picking off a Stalker. Every unit counts. Looks like Alfie will lose that Stalker. He is being forced to pull back all of his Stalkers, and the Phoenixes will escape. And Grubby over back at home, continuing to make those Phoenixes. He's getting a robotics facility of his own, and we will likely see him expand real soon. And this does force Alfie to keep all of his units back inside of his base. He is researching that blink, and it will finish up soon, so he will be able to deny additional Phoenix harassment if he does micro well enough. Robotics facility now finishing up for Grubby as well. The Stalkers in position will force the Phoenixes back. We'll probably see Grubby continuing to push around with those Phoenixes now getting out Immortals onto the field. And because he is forcing his opponent to make so many Stalkers, those Immortals and Zealots will be able to do maximum amount of damage, especially with the Phoenixes lifting everything, just gaining a bit of energy on those Phoenixes for the moment. And I think we may actually see Grubby make the push here. Those Phoenixes do have plenty of energy and could actually lift every Stalker that Alfie does have, and it looks like Alfie is looking to expand. He is banking 900 minerals, now doing another warp in of those Stalkers. Observer checking out exactly what Grubby is doing, and Grubby throwing down additional pylons, making sure that he does not get supply blocked. Phoenix going to be checking inside of Alfie's base. Looks like it does take a little bit of damage, only sustaining hull damage though, so not too big of a deal. The Stalker, the one observer checking out what's going on over here. I don't think he actually sees the entire force, but he does know that his opponent has a robotics. Grubby now throwing up his Nexus, and the 4 Zealots now warping in for Alfie. We'll probably see him trying to deny that observer going down. Stalkers continuing to be held back inside of Alfie's main, and it looks like the Phoenixes standing still for just a moment. The few Zealots warped in, just hanging back, waiting for the perfect moment. Looks like the Stalker trying to get into position. Sentry does pick it off, but one Phoenix does go down. I don't know if that was actually a good trade. Another Observer is on the way for Alfie, and the Zealots are now coming over for Alfie, trying to do some damage. Looks like a couple of Stalkers are in range. Looks like the Zealots will manage to make their way up. Grubby only loses a Stalker and a Zealot to those 4, so that was a pretty good trade for Grubby. He still has plenty of energy on these Phoenixes, could possibly pick off yet another probe during that flyby, but it looks like he will not be risking that. His natural expansion is complete, and there's the transfer of probes. Grubby now researching Blink for himself, and he's starting to get a pretty good lead here. Alfie does not yet have an expansion, and it doesn't really look like he's going to be going for one. He may be going for one big push off of this one base real soon to try to end the game before Grubby's 400 mineral expansion actually does kick in. The Phoenix is scouting around for that pylon. Looks like a couple of